Hello everyone and welcome to a new video. How is everyone doing and how is your climb going on? For me it is wonderful. I get the best offer there is in ranked. Either win hard or lose hard. Sadly, no close games where both teams are similar in skills or in skins. In today's video, we will be having a weird game. Our opponents chose an off-meta pick, and that is the Twisted Fate AD carry in the bot side with Set. Let's see how this game will unfold. But before that, make sure to subscribe and leave a like. That would be much appreciated. I am not going to lie, this path start is addictive. It only failed once in around 10 games where I got chased off like a dog from the enemy jungle. What tilted me more was the insignificance of my zombie solo laners. I would agree that I chose to do this by myself, but not reacting whatsoever truly hits hard. It tells me that as a person, you don't take risks, and you are a boring individual that should go for another hobby that doesn't involve rage and induced anger. Now looking at the mini-map, usually the one that control the lane should win by default, and I insist on the word usually. Hence, my invade is justified, and in other words right now, the more I farm the better. I still didn't master the right amount of damage needed to kill the enemy jungler as Volibear. I can do it with Shaco, but I would refrain from taking Ignite instead of Ghost. Also, I never use Smite on the enemy camps, because most of junglers would lose their temper and either go for a risky gank or fight me over my red buff or the chickens. Against Nunu, I don't expect him to put a duel, but he might contest my other camps as a revenge quest for what I am doing to him right now. Nunu went for the safer play and decided to gank my top laner. I like Yone mains, even though I don't like Yone as a champion. They display a fair amount of confidence in the champion itself, and only against certain utterly broken characters. They lose the lane such as Olaf, Trundle, and Irelia. Against those, I feel obliged to provide some help to the Giga Chad top G. But this guy said screw you and your help, and I do truly respect ones that stand up to their expectations. This was one of 2 games out of 10 that my top laner was really good, and that brought tear to my eyes as a jungler. This enemy jungler is going really hard on the ganks. While I did a full clear with extra buff, he ganked twice, and it seems his luck is out of reach. The funny thing was that my mid laner was dying in silence. No pings or anything at all, just running and kiting to the best of his ability. I only noticed in the minimap that Cassiopeia is running for her life, and with that we scored to ourselves our first kill. All this happened due to our early game invade and our top G duel. Now the enemy jungler is mentally broken, and we will be fools if we don't capitalize on that. Luck is a huge factor in League of Legends. I would say it is between 1/3 to 1/4 of your innate ability. The other 2/3 are split almost evenly about your confidence and your skills, either micro or macro. You can work on these too, but sometimes good moments just come right to your feet begging for you to take them. I would estimate that 1 level lead is almost as if you are having 1 to 2 kills ahead of your enemy, and you managed to spend that gold. Even though that Nunu based and got some $2 items, that doesn't mean we should run for it. I am pretty confident that I will come victorious out of this encounter. The only issue in my setup is that I rely subconsciously that my team will be moving accordingly to the enemy movements. Is this my mistake? Hardly. I think we screwed up our focus and everyone is chasing his nemesis trying to set the score right, and sadly I got the worst outcome of this. But my team are in an advantageous situation. These skirmishes are what enable you as a jungler to share some of your lead with your team, hopefully not at the expenses of your life. My intention was that for Yone to fight towards our location, but remember, this is the main character of this episode. This guy is Ragna fighting for his life, and truly I am impressed. Not only he won the lane, but also managed to boost the morale of the whole team. Meanwhile, in the butthole of this game, Misfortune is stating the obvious, but between you and me, I don't think we are seeing the same angle. Without Milio ultimate hoping he knows what it does, I'll simply pull up to their lane, get chain CC and trade kills, so that our AD carry can get a lead. This looks like a fair plan. Or I go back to farming and shadow my top G and ignore everything else. As they say among software developers, if it is working, don't touch it. Narcissistic to the core and rotten to no end. I might gank your bot side if I feel I can't die instantly under tower, and only if I feel like it, nothing more and nothing else. While I am walking to full clear my red side, Top G is performing out of his mind, and now I am considering to ban Yone instead of Trundle or Rengar. This individual died a mundane death, and blamed another time the support. This demonstrates that how you do anything is how you do everything. The weird part is that Melio isn't saying anything back so either. He doesn't speak English, or there is nothing to say to a delusional carry. Now, we can go back and buy the aspect of fear. The Frozen Heart completed effect is so broken that I can't stress enough what it can do to the enemy just by your presence. Now, as a champion in this game, I matter more than anyone else just by showing up. This is what it means to truly hold hands and babysit someone, not camping them, but making sure they don't screw the game over before the 20 minutes mark. The Snake Women is dead, and I am only left with Miss Universe, and sir, I am not a legend, and I still managed to be a champion. To somehow make it work. The old me wouldn't even show up to this shit show, but based on my experience, the outcome is so bad that Yoni wouldn't be able to carry with this rooster at his disposal. Now for me, this is an absolute win. A Drake or two wouldn't make a difference this early on in the game. Our main issue is that Miss Fortune is forcing her role in the plot only to fuck it up. Now that we know who is which, I'll place new labels on my bot side. Miss Wannabe and Sir Uselessness. I tried to play with you guys, but the best outcome now is to either pull out the hard carry shirt or shadow top G for the entire game. For us to carry, we will need 3 core items completed: Frozen Heart, Rift Maker, and Spirit Visage. Once we reach that stage, we are a boss-level champion. Now this trash can is trying to spread the negative energy in the game, and we as a jungler, we truly don't give a shit about anyone else until they are proven worthy. So let's ignore her for eternity and move on to make some fine plays. They were waiting for top G, and now when you shadow someone, you make sure either they stay alive or you claim your revenge to keep his sanity intact. The fact that I muted myself was a clear fuck you to our own ad carry. I am sure I can take these two into a 1v2, assuming they don't have summoners. You would say, well, your carry is helping you. Nah, I don't care now who is helping me. And to be honest with you, I would prefer if you don't, because for us to be good, we need to be good by ourselves. But since you did something useful, here is a bone for you. Now be a good girl and scatter away. I didn't even think about the Drake because I can only put 1 pink, and that was taken away multiple times. And since the enemy is avoiding topside, we take anything we can and hope for the best. Now what can we do to make this game a better experience? I noticed that Nunu is still ganking with a no-brain strategy roll with the ball and pressing R to mitigate our burst, so let's him do his thing. My goal on the other hand is not mainly kills but objectives, and specifically structures. Anything else is a distraction. I was a bit asking too much for a second crash, but it is never bad to be greedy. I simply need to draw a bit of attention to me to ensure that Sir Harold will perform the second crash, and with that mission accomplished. Now we need to run since I truly don't trust these guys, and we should set up for Yone to split push so that we can do Baron at spawn. Shit, that burn hurts way more than expected. Top G is doing exactly what he needs to do. Whenever he is alive, the enemy sends at least 2 champions to deal with him, and that is perfectly what we need to our big brain play. Us, on the other hand, we are at this stage kind of immortal. What turned out to be broken on Volibear with the new runes are not the movement speed or the tenacity, rather the scaling health with conditioning. Once we go past the 12-minute mark, we get to notice that it is harder to kill us the more level we acquire. I think Set didn't expect this to go this way. I truly thought he would kill someone using my ginormous body. Sadly, the only dead person is not on our side. Now if you look closely, we are playing a 4v4, and the enemy have 2 dead champions. If your brain has only 2 neurons, you should hear somewhere in your inner self, "This is a Baron Angle?" Otherwise, don't think about being a mid-game leader. The snake woman died for no reason, and that is good for us. They would think we are in the base healing and they will get distracted by our top G to defend and protect their base. This is a great success. We are stacked in gold. And on top of that, the enemy are a bit clueless on what to do. If I were in their shoes, I'll try to smack the shit out of Fiora until she builds a personality and force her to go and deal with Yone. And I'll try to keep mid pushed and try to force the enemy in an open lane fight with Corky Package to avoid getting shit on by Misfortune. You see, there is always hope on either sides. You just need to keep your mind clear and your decisions are aimed towards victory. I am wondering, why are we having a team fight grouped as 5? We should play smart because I think Miss Ego is still trying to make this game around her. To be honest, I only respect Karthus when we are talking about 1 ability champions. Otherwise, you should shake that booty and work hard as our supposedly main damage output. But fear not, as long I am around, I'll dominate the fight, because if I sense this is hopeless, I'll run straight in the mid lane with Baron buff and put the enemy team in a pickle. At this instance, we reached the stage, "Do not ruin it," in this game. I noticed that Yone died so much that he is now refraining from split pushing, and this is acceptable against a certain composition. Most of the enemy champions start their engage outside of your vision, and with Twisted Fate they have more tools to trap one of us and build a lead on that. So, we simply need to do nothing and wait for them to trap one of us, so that we do a reverse Uno. My jungle senses are always on point, whether winning or losing, and they are sharper when I am losing. Now back to our original goal. We shadow the main character, and from his light we emerge as the true hidden main character. This is called the Big Brother moment. This was possible because we invested wisely in the early game and didn't waste much on useless side characters. And luck was a bit in our side because usually having a winning top G by themselves are hard to come around. Volibear never acquired a proper rework, but in patch 14.2, once Volibear hit a jackpot by completing these specific items, Volibear becomes effectively unstoppable. Yeah, I wanted to do a Hikari tribute so badly that this, among other successful Giga Chad plays, were a potential candidate. Sadly, my editing skills are almost non-existing, and with that, I really hope you enjoyed this video. Truth to be told, that Engage hit the jackpot and gave me a proper Volibear moment. Also make sure to subscribe and drop a like until the next video. Peace.